Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Perfectly Frank podcast. If you need more information, please visit the website at IamPerfectlyFrank.com to learn more about our coaching programs, our intuitive work, our muscle care program, which treats pain patterns, and we do massage. Also, to pick up on the individual podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome to They Call Me Perfectly Frank. Please visit my website, IamPerfectlyFrank.com. In case you want a coaching session, please book one on the site. And by the way, if you're interested in purchasing my book, The Man He's Stupid and the Girl She's So Bitch, please either go to my website, IamPerfectlyFrank.com, or feel free to order it on Amazon, either on Kindle or in paperback. Hello, everyone, and welcome to They Call Me Perfectly Frank podcast, episode 14. How exciting. So we're talking about the episode from my book that is Understanding Language. I'm excited for you to listen. Enjoy yourselves.
Upfront communication is a valuable commodity, and so are the simple questions of, honey, what do you need? And honey, can I tell you what I need? Because if you say, would you like to know what I need? Of course they want to know what you need. If you can say to them, I'd like to tell you what I need, and then can we have a conversation about it? When is a good time for us to do that? It's opening a door rather than just being resentful because you assume they don't care. You make a request of them or they make one of you. Let's see, can I do that for you? I think that's okay, honey. Sure, I can make you dinner every night, and I get it that when you come home from work, you need some downtime. I get that you need a little space. I'm always wanting to go out at that time. How do you feel if I socialize without you? I'm not sure I like that. Well, how about if maybe it's just once every other week? Yeah, that works for me. And how about occasionally you do the dishes? How about I cook, you clean? Oh yeah, I'm okay with cleaning, but you might have to remind me. So many fights between couples could be completely avoided or even changed once they begin if we can understand that what we are really looking for is just a way to make it work together. And notice that in the example above, the communication contains a lot of questions. How would you feel if I did this? Would you be willing to do that? Would it be okay with you if we do it this way?
Yeah. And we also have a thing where we'll say, I have a request. And there's something about I have a request that somehow takes the pressure off a little bit more than I need you to do this or I don't like this. I have a request always lands really gently on me. When he says I have a request, my ears perk up. And I think about that as opposed to I have a bone to pick with you or I'm getting really pissed off about something. I do the same with him, and then we talk about whatever the request is. And sometimes the other person says, awesome, yes, I will. I can help with that request. And other times it's, well, it's a little sticky for me because of this or that. Could we do something else instead? But the point is that hearing each other is just so important. Someone making a request rather than a demand is easier to hear without judgment.
Okay, side note, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I don't like I have a request either. What else can we say? Because we have to talk, that lands horribly no matter what. Because hey babe, we have to talk later.
So I have a question though. What is it about I have a request that bothers you?
I don't want you requesting anything from me. You can ask me.
Yeah, that's a sense of
But I have a request
control.
is you're right. You want me to do something.
Oh, very interesting.
Instead of hey, can I ask you a question? Because that's what I always say is,
because
hey, can I ask you a question?
It has to work for both of you. It has to land on you in the right way. To me, a request is benign because a request can be denied. I have a request, denied.
Yeah, but then I have to deny it. Whereas
I get it, but this is a very valuable communication.
It is, yeah.
Because language is
so
huge.
important.
And you must find the language that works for the two of you.
Yes.
And know that language could change down the road.
True.
Right now it could be, hey, honey, can we have a Tuesday night?
True.
Can I ask you a question? I have a request. I have a request. I feel it puts it all on the person that says, I have a request. It's I just dumped something on you. Right? I get
there's
that.
something about that word.
Right. But each of us have a different language style. I have a very different language style. Some of the things that my writer, Cheri, had mentioned in here, I have to, because of the way I see things, I have to go back and go, whoa, I don't get and understand that. So And that may happen. Someone could say, I love you. And they are like, what? Well, I love you. Instead of looking at you and say, you're the best thing that ever happened to me. They will hear it two different ways. And they may need to get caught up in this way. It's okay. Just know that when this guy says, I love you, he's meaning you're the best thing that ever happened to me. And because you can't change his language, you understand? But when you come from a language, his response is going to be almost consistent or matching. I have a question. He's going to come back with, okay, what's the question?
Yeah.
I have a request. What's your request, baby?
Yeah.
You know, what are you requesting for? Why don't you just ask me? You know, I mean, however we have to be prepared for the way we ask the question and how that we need to let it be okay the way they come back with the answer.
Yeah.
But also asking at the right time. So I'll literally say like, hey, are you in a position like mentally where we can like have a quick conversation or can I ask you a question? So you are hearing me as opposed to like you're doing 10 other things and don't give a shit about what I'm asking.
Because if I say to my husband, I have a question, I feel him go... Like I feel him like there's a little wall that comes out. But if I say, I have a request.
Right.
That
the tone
it works for you guys.
Changes.
It's totally different. It's totally different.
The tone is different. Like for me, I say to John, hey babe, can we talk for a minute? Yeah, sure.
Right.
You know, because for me, that tone stays consistent.
Yes.
Can we talk for a minute? Now, for me, it's about me and you. Because I need you to engage. I can't have the wall.
See, I wonder if my tone changes when I say I have a request.
It must.
Because we both have agreed on that as the language that works for us.
100%.
Right?
So
great?
Yeah. So, and he says it softly too. Now that you mention that, he says it that way too.
It's free for you.
I have a request. He says it that way too. He brings his voice down and it's a gentle thing. And I think we also both recognize it as like, we're about to get vulnerable.
Do you ever say, okay, like, give me a minute. I need to be in like the right space to stop what I'm doing.
Or he will say to me, okay, but give me a minute because I want to really hear you.
Okay. And so that's okay for your partner to then say, like,
okay,
I'm not dismissing
just give me
you.
a minute.
I just need a minute.
Oh, yeah.
My husband, who's very engineer,
you
know, he often works on his time. Can you help me with something? In a minute. Me, I'm like, I want your help now. I'm not asking.
Like, put it down.
I've learned to say, when can you help me with X?
Yeah, no, but I got to be a bitch. I did that.
I know.
I went, I want your help right now.
I know. I want it right now too. But I will say.
But I have that flexibility.
Or when is a good time for it?
Right. Yeah. Or when is a good time for it? Or John, I need your help right now. Can you help me? We need both of those. We need to, you need to like honor their space and honor yours.
Right.
And if you can be flexible for both of you. Yeah. If you need something right now, you have to say right now. You can't say, honey, can you help me? And expect they're going to come right now.
Right.
You need those words from me.
Can you help me right now?
You know?
Well, and that's my other issue is I ask everything as a question, even though I'm telling you, like, hey, can you take the garbage out? As opposed to like, hey, the garbage needs to go out. Take it out.
Well, even for you wouldn't like it. You wouldn't like that language either.
No, and that's the problem. Like I learned it, unfortunately, just asking everything as a question, even though what I'm saying is this is what I want.
Yeah, and it's also a that's when you study language, they've looked at the way that women have been taught to communicate as opposed to the way that men have been taught to communicate, and women have been taught to raise their voice at the end of the sentence. So that everything they say sort of sounds like a question because that's less threatening. And we've just been cultured that way to do that. And men, you will notice men don't do that. Their voice will actually go down at the end of a sentence.
I'll pay attention to that.
And there's power in that, you know? I think I might go to the park. I am going to the park.
Right.
I think I might go to the park. And there's a difference.
Gosh,
you can
I'm
feel
gonna
it.
have to, like,
So
pay
you
attention
watch
to that.
And you pay attention. And it's, a man's voice will come down, whereas our voices, we've been entrained to do so, our voices will go up.
And it's non-threatening.
Because
it's a non-threatening question. Right.
Exactly right. We're not making a demand then, because heaven forbid a woman make a demand.
Exactly.
But it's, then we're non-threatening and we are easier to deal with, quote unquote, as women. And it's easier for us to work with getting a man to do what we want to do because our voices are gentler. It's what you're talking about with tone. It's huge.
So then what do you do when you have a partner where you're like, hey, can I ask you a question? And they're like, what?
But that's his experience.
It's like, now this is the next question.
Yeah,
This is now the next
That's
conversation.
Are you busy right now? Let me know when you can. When I
And
can
if
ask
he's
that
like
question.
all the time, like, oh God, what?
What if you
another
just-
question?
Then say, slow down, take a deep breath, and let me answer this question.
Okay.
We have to. I'm telling you, men say they don't like directions. Fuck that shit. If you don't give them,
Right.
honey, there's food in the refrigerator. Can you please feed the children? If I would have said, there's food in the refrigerator. Can you put it in the oven at 11 o'clock? It's going to be done in an hour. Then feed the kids this food. Whole different ballgame.
They like directions. They don't like questions, though.
Here's the thing,
No,
though.
they don't like any of it until you give it to them. If you give it to them, they don't realize they like
to
it
be
or
bothered
didn't like
with any of it.
Men truly do want to please us. Men truly do want to give us, but they don't know. So you need to be specific. My mother said, the giddle, she think the mistity for the man, I'm not going to tell you. But the mistity is tell him exactly what you want. He going to fall so much in love with you because he don't have to guess in his mind. Francis, his mind don't work like this. He can't think. He's stupid. That's what she was trying to say. Like, if you want your husband, honey, I want to ask you a question. Babe, I'm busy right now. If he has a tone in his voice, doesn't feel good to you, you want to attack back. You can say to him, honey, can you stop just for 1 second? This is really important. You have to get lower.
Yeah.
You have to go lower. Remember, this is not about satisfying him. Fuck him. This is about
I know. How am I going to get my way? Here we go.
How am I going to get what I
Take
want?
a breath.
How am I going to get what I need? Not my way.
And I have a thought here. What if, so the next time you say, hey, I have a question, he goes, ugh, what? You can say, okay, I just want to stop for a second. What is it about that phrase that bothers you so much?
I can answer that. Exactly
Why do you
what he would
respond
say.
like that?
I know exactly
What
what
will
he
he say?
Because it's never just one question. It's like opening Pandora's box.
Right.
Because once I have his attention, it's like, okay, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this?
Okay.
Then ask him that. See, I have a few questions I'd like to ask.
Or
I need 5 minutes of your time.
then
However
say-
much I can get out in 5 minutes, we'll set a timer.
Right. And then say, okay, what can we do to make this better? What can we do to make this better for
Yeah,
you?
men can
Because you
answer
know
those
what? As my partner in my life, I do sometimes need a little bit of your extended attention. And maybe if I knew I was going to get that regularly, I wouldn't ask for one question and then have to ask you 20.
Exactly.
So how can we do this differently?
Have sex first, calm him down, and then start asking.
And that may be true.
Then,
The thing is that
it's true. Like
you have to
drink,
surrender.
smoke weed, or some
Right.
sex, and then
You have to take
ask him.
control out of your brain, just the word itself.
Yes.
Because, when you can have a communication that with the question you're already asking, you're already ready to respond back.
Because I know the answer I want. And that's what he would say is, if you already know that this is the outcome you want,
are you asking?
why are you asking?
Because I need your support on the answer.
Yes, I need to pretend like you're totally supporting everything I want you to do right now. And I'm not forcing you to do it.
Right. Although I'm telling you, you never force a man. You don't.
No,
He
especially
may
not my
like
husband.
It,
He
and
doesn't
then-
do anything he doesn't want to do.
Right. But here's the thing. You need to get something done. Okay? I need to get the kids a half hour earlier. I don't like it. I get that you don't like it. I need to get it done.
Right,
Right?
exactly.
I need to get it done.
Okay,
This
that's
is
great.
Okay.
Thank you for your opinion.
5 months later, he goes, you know what, honey, that was brilliant that you did that.
Right.
We must take the time to trust ourselves. Life will arise organically, whether you push it or not. If you push the organic life too much, it's going to push back. You're going to have a car accident. You're going to get a headache. You're going to get sick. You're going to have an argument with a friend. If you can let it happen organically or surrender to it and watch it flow, then the pushback doesn't happen so often.
Yeah, and what you're saying is if you let it go for too long and you don't talk to him, if you just give
Right.
up and go, all right, forget it. I can't
Right.
talk to you.
I'll just do it myself.
You're a human
I'll
wall.
just do it my fucking self.
I'll just do it myself. Then that's when that resentment starts
Yes,
bubbling.
that's the pushback.
Then you get, then you, and like she says, or you turn it all inward, you start to get sick.
Well, that's where a lot of women are right now. When you go online, everyone's like, why do we need a man? If I have to fucking cook, clean, and do everything
do everything
myself,
myself.
why do I need another person to take care of? And that's why I think a lot of divorces are happening now, because women are awakening to the fact that they don't fucking need a man.
But they're awakening to it, but they're not willing to see, relationships are about me and you coming together, not to fulfill each other, but to share who we are. And when you come from tradition, and this is the way a woman is, then he's going to follow that path. But if you come from, let's make a change. We need to work this together. We both work. I come home. I want to be with the kids, and I need some help here. Okay, the guy's always gonna tuck his socks between the cushions. Okay, I'm gonna laugh about it. You know what? When you walk in the room, I'm gonna throw them at you. I get that. And you can do every other week. You can do the wash, and I won't get pissed off about the way you do it. But I'm going to give you instruction and maybe you'll follow them. But if you're going to do it, I'm going to be happy you got it done. That's where women have to come from. Men are willing to do the work. I swear to you, they are. But my mother's right. Francis, he's not going to do it the way you want it, but he's going to get it done.
So do you think people are just avoiding that uncomfortable conversation, which is actually why it's leading to separation and divorce?
I think they don't know it.
Because they're assuming if I have this conversation, it's going to end in a way that I don't like.
Anger builds up so much, right? 10 years, I am so pissed off now. The only solution I have is to say goodbye. Because you don't recognize, you're so angry, you're thinking they're the problem.
Well, so many women also, though, that I'm seeing in that same vein is, but I did tell him, but I said it.
Oh, yeah.
I did say it. And so he's all of a sudden surprised that I'm packing my shit and leaving.
Right.
When it's like, but I fucking told you every
words
day.
Alone don't
over and
do
over
it.
again.
Words
How come
alone
now you're surprised?
Your kids, honey, you got to clean the room. 2 days later, got to clean the room. 2 days later. Yeah, you have to hold them accountable.
So how do you hold a husband or a wife accountable for their actions?
Every man or woman will say you made me a better person when you hold them accountable.
What's the consequence? I can't ground my husband. Give me your devices. You're grounded.
You know what you can do?
What?
You can say to your husband, this is not working for me. If you didn't agree to do it, it'd be a different story, but you agreed. So why don't we sit down and you tell me what you can agree to do? Okay. I'll make a list. I'll put it up on this wall. I'll help remind you. Okay? It's going to piss me off. I'm going to tell you right now. It's going to piss me off. Although I do need to be a partner with you, a team player with you. I'm not going to do it all alone. You have two options. You can either participate in our lives or you can go.
Right.
But if you go, honey, you're going to be spending a lot of money.
It's gonna
or
cost.
I got another solution, babe.
Yeah.
Why don't we change our budget and get someone to help us?
Exactly.
Why don't we change our budget and realize, you know what? I don't like doing this shit. You're not going to do this shit. We can't. Why don't we hire someone to solve that problem for us? Why don't we hire someone? We can figure out our budget because two of us are working.
Right.
Okay, we'll stop having Starbucks coffee. That's me. Right. You know, we'll start doing this.
Yeah, and all those sports subscriptions that you have, honey, well, we're going to have to cut those down. And it can't just inconvenience you budget-wise, by the way. It's got to impact him, too.
Right.
You know, because it's got to get done. Look, the people need to realize that a marriage, and especially when you have kids, is you're like it's almost like managing a business.
It is.
Oh,
this thing has to run. It has to, right? But it has to run. The thing has to function. It has to run. And the reality is that there are things that must be done in order for this to run. And it isn't fair in this corporation of our marriage for me to do the lion's share of everything because you can't be bothered or you can't remember or you don't want to or you don't like it.
Or his job is more physical during the day.
Yeah,
That's my husband's excuse.
Well,
I work
then
so
when
hard during the
can
day.
you help?
Okay, great.
Then when can you help? Does he work 7 days a week?
6.
Because this is not about participating in our lives, babe. It's about participating in your own.
Right.
Yeah.
It's about, and if you don't want to get in that game, then make sure that there's this much money in the budget so you can have somebody else take care of you.
Yeah.
Because I also work. And by the way, if I am not a working woman out of the house, I'm taking care of these babies. And if
That's
you think
the
it's
hardest
easy,
part.
please take it for one day. I'm going to completely step out of the way. My son is screaming because I can't find his clothes. Babe, what do? Go figure it out. My honey, there's no food in the refrigerator. Go figure it out. And he's going to be like, what the fuck? How come you're not helping me? Let's see.
You know, another eye-opening thing is to go online, make a list of everything that you do all day, every day, and go online and find out what people are making right now to be a 24/7. What would it cost to have 24/7 babysitting service?
Right.
What would it cost to have 7 days a week someone handling like a secretary, like a personal secretary,
Personal assistant.
to be there 7 days a week, housekeeper 7 days a week, personal chef 7 days a week,
A shopper.
personal shopper 7 days a week, party planner for any event that happens for the family.
What if you got this right
chauffeur.
before you got married? What if before you even got married, okay, we want to care for each other. A woman is going to care for a man differently than a man will care for a woman. What if we sat down and said, this is how I'd like to things go? Because we're so excited when we first get married. Women want to give.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And men, they don't see it that way. They feel like they're giving, but this is what I'm giving.
Yeah.
Because society has placed those things in place. What if we sat down and said, listen, I want to have, when we are home together, I would like to have this. And by the way, when we have children, I don't know what that's going to look like. So we may have to revisit this conversation and go from there. And that's why John and I had these Tuesday nights. We needed to revisit this because it wasn't once a year. It wasn't with a new child. It was every week.
Okay. I'm adding something to the list.
But if you take a look at that list and then you show him the dollar amount that you are bringing to that household every single week. Here's my contribution. This is what I'm dollar-wise to replace me in this household. Oh, and you could also add a sex worker in there.
Is it, so you should never mention the divorce word? Because I think I did, like, well, if we were separated, by the way, you'd be having to literally do all this in your own house and have to spend time with the kids.
I don't know the answer to that question.
How do you
I choose not to. I have
because if you're in it, you're in it. We're in the marriage. Don't bring up the D word and don't bring up separation.
Times, but I realized when I thought divorce or even mentioned it, it was because I was so angry.
Right.
And because when I'm not angry, I really adore him. I love my husband. He is such a good boy. Is he everything he is? Is he everything that I want? No. I have to get a lot from other people.
Right.
But so do all of us.
Yeah.
We have a girlfriend. We need somebody else to get. I mean, when I have an emotional problem, my husband will say, Frank, call Carla. When I have, when I need to go out and have a drink, he'll say, Frank, call Anad or call Natalie. Or, he knows enough now.
He knows his limitations.
He knows his limitations, which is good. I know my limitations, and they're not half as large as his. Okay, although we have found that dance where I don't cook much, and he cleans all the time.
But you figured out it works for you.
That's right. The guy likes to wash his own clothes. Why would I stop him?
Oh my God!
Okay,
please.
Why would I stop him?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. He'll help folding the clothes with the kids. I'm not going to change his way.
Right.
But when we first get married, we have this grandiose idea, okay? I'm a working girl. When I have the babies, I'm going to stop working. So what? We should still be able to keep you in the same lifestyle you were living in when you were working.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah, because that's freaking work.
It's work. It's a lot. It's 24/7 work. That's
You
what I
are
say.
never
You don't have
off.
to be a woman working. A stay-at-home mom has a lot of work. And I got to tell you, the other thing that I observed about moms, and there's still no book, and we have to write one. It's not the first child. It's the first child. You have a child, and a year later or 2 years later, you have a second child. It's not the second child that's the work, or the third child. It's always the first one, or the one before the next one you have, because the last child only has to have his needs met. The first and second child are going to help with the third child. But that first child, that needs attention. I want you, Mom. Show me the way. I'm curious. I'm learning now. I'm not just having these food and diaper change and needs met.
Constant.
Right? And so, like, my daughter just yelled at me. You treat him, you kiss his ass. I can't believe it. I'm like, I kissed her ass too. No, you don't. You told me I'm a teenager and I'm drinking and you're going to put me into a treatment center. And with him, you're like, no big deal. I'll pass. I go, I learned from you, baby. Well, I don't like it. And I can hear my oldest brother. I'm the youngest of 7. I can hear him say, I didn't sign up for it. I did not sign up for everything our parents gave me.
Yeah.
I did not sign up for it. But the truth is, we learned from the oldest child.
Well, and
society had placed that on us. Society had placed that on us, and it's hard to get out of the way of society. For me,
Deprogramming that has been so hard.
And deprogramming now also this notion somehow, and I think unfortunately, it had a lot to do with the women's liberation movement, is that what the woman does at home has been devalued.
Oh, 100%.
It's been 100% devalued. And there's a reason that a household runs. Somebody has to do it. This is why rich people hire household managers. To run a house,
rich or otherwise,
or rich or otherwise, they hire household managers. Somehow, this has been completely devalued by all these various and different things. So now, when you're a person who ends up being the one who is taking care of the home and the children, because there are also many women, and I'm going to say women because they've done studies, and it's very disproportionate. It's the women that are holding a full-time job and also have the full-time job of the household on their shoulders. When you have the partner who goes out and do that and you stay home, they can go, well, other women are doing this and they're working full-time. So it must be nothing. It's not nothing.
Well, I also feel like there's weaponized incompetence, right?
Oh, God,
where men are like, well, I don't know how to do that, or they do it wrong.
Figure it
and
out.
It's like, well, fucking figure it out. I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you.
My husband actually talked to me about that the other day.
Weaponized incompetence?
Yeah.
What did
he actually
say?
talked to me about that. He said,
what is it? I'm sorry.
So it's where the guy pretends that he doesn't know how to do something so that he can get out of doing it.
Correct.
And so that then he knows that you're going to be like, give me that.
Right.
Like, just stop it. Give me that. So if he ruins the laundry, or if he burns the dinner, or if he throws all the dishes in the dishwasher
son of a bitch.
with chunks of crap on it.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
And then you're going to come and find it and go, oh, fuck, well, he doesn't know how to do this. I'm not going to let him out. I'm not going to ever ask him to do this again.
Wow.
And they'll do that on purpose.
On purpose.
So that they don't have to do this shit.
Right.
So,
and even if it's like conscious or subconscious, they're still doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
I got to interrupt on this, though.
Johnny the engineer.
That whole process and the dating process, right, of how lazy your goddamn husband is, or that your wife keeps a shit house, or stuff like that, that should be all we figured out.
Yeah.
So when you're coming back in, you already have an idea.
Right.
All right, she's going to do this, I'm going to do this.
Exactly.
But
right.
you're masking when you're dating. You can't. But you're masking when you date, though.
That can happen, but a lot of people, men and women, are so afraid that they found someone that's going to put up with them.
Yes.
They don't want to walk away from it.
Yes.
Now they want to stay and be in a shit
Yes.
show.
Yeah.
Totally.
Right? A lot of people are like, both of you deserve to have the very best. Why are you settling? Some of it is from what they saw in their parents or what they saw most around them, whatever brought them up. Yeah. But I agree with you. But the other thing, too, is unless you're living with somebody, you don't see the slob. In my life, I have clients that first year of marriage was terrible. He goes, buys a house down the street. They're separated. 40 years later, they're still married with children. 40 years later.
But they just can't live together.
He lives in one house.
No. Keep going. No, it's fine.
I just was thinking about this, too. It's probably that lie process, too, right? Oh, I'm going to give you a mistake. I'm going to do all this shit to try to hook you.
But it is. You're masking. I 100% will tell you.
I sit on the couch with my hand in my pants.
Right.
I not get up.
Right.
I just want to say, I just think that, and a lot of times people just don't wait long enough, right?
Oh,
really
yeah.
get to know
Yes.
somebody
Right.
Oh, yeah.
before they get married.
Right.
Right? And then all of a sudden you find out and thinking, should have thought about that a little bit more.
Right.
Now I'm stuck with this son of a bitch
Right.
for this long until it doesn't work out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But what are you willing to compromise on?
Right.
Right. So, like,
Right.
I am a horrible housewife. I'll flat out tell you. But my husband is like, okay, whatever, fine. Like, because I'm like, if you want to help, that's great. If you don't, I'm on fucking strike. I'm not doing shit.
Well, there you
Like,
go.
I'll clean every once. Literally, my mom's coming, so I clean the house. He's like, oh, this is amazing. I'm like, isn't it amazing? It's crazy. It's not going to stay like this. I just fucking did all the dishes and all the laundry. But there's your fucking underwear and socks and your coffee cup from this morning. God forbid you should do it. So I don't do it.
Right.
Yeah, like, what are you willing to compromise? So,
No,
we're gonna let me wrap up this. Come on,
Thank
Johnny.
you.
All right, it's 10:30.
All right.
Do you want me to finish this page?
Yeah.
Just
Let's-
page
oh, yeah,
187.
just finish
Okay.
All right. So it's just...
That's love language.
okay. That's where we're at?
Yes.
Okay.
That's love language. And you know, everyone is an individual. These exact things may not work for everyone, but you can find out what works for you if you communicate with each other. Our Tuesday nights work well for my husband and me. You telling each other that you have a request works well for you and your husband. The idea is that you find language you can agree on and put it to work in helping you resolve the things that come up.
If it works, that's wonderful. You have to find your own vibe with whoever your partner is. You have to find your own way into how do you communicate, what works for the two of you.
The most important thing to know about your relationship is that it will change. Even though you communicated, it's not like my husband would say, until further notice. Can I say I love you until further notice? No. Things will come up every day, and it's to your advantage to continue to talk about these things as they evolve.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this Perfectly Frank podcast. I would love to hear from you, any questions, comments you might have, and hopefully you've read the book, The Man He's Stupid and the Girl She's So Bitch. Feel free to make any comments you might have at IamPerfectlyFrank.com. Look forward to hearing from you again. Veterans Van Lines, one of the best moving companies you'll ever experience. 248-889-8888. VeteransVanlines.com.